So this is how the grass grows. I successfully moloed this with my necromancer, and I successfully molded it with my Shadow Knight. I never dreamed of trying it with my rogue, but I thought maybe I could do it with my warrior and his cleric merc. And the answer to that was no. I'm not saying nobody could do it. I'm saying I couldn't do it. So I decided to bring in my free-to-play cleric. So I've got a journeyman mercenary cleric, an apprentice mercenary cleric, and I have my free-to-play cleric that could throw in some buffs, and he's got the auras. It gives me more hit points, etc. I did not actually use him to heal for the first 2.5 minutes of this battle, but eventually I started throwing a few heals from him off and on. The heal chart in my log parser looks like a pair of giant's legs, where there's heals going off, no heals, heals, no heals, heals. It wasn't pretty. I'm not going to say I did a good job at this, but as they say, a win is a win. It got pretty far down in health a number of times, and I mentioned I had died trying to do this Molo, just the warrior and his cleric mercenary. Well, more frankly, I had died 3 times trying to do this, and I still am not convinced that it can't be done, but I don't have snare or feign death or self-healing in the way that an SK or a necromancer does. I could probably have brought in some of those tools.
Eclectic shield fades.
That's my audio triggers. Whenever you hear my voice sort of sub rosa back there, those will be the audio triggers. Basically, I've set up the very standard in-game audio triggers for this as I work on my setup. This is definitely not an advertisement for great warrior play, but I stood up. He starts out with his shield and his sword, and I fairly quickly realized that I might survive that way. Doubtful. But I need to kill faster, so I'm dual wielding now. As you can see, his pennant, which Daybreak Games thought was fun. Let's throw in a pennant for everybody, free. And then it's an old Worm Slayer ornamentation. That is not the Worm Slayer that he is wielding. He actually has a tier 2 raid weapon from
End of the Line fades.
The earlier expansion, Night of Shadows. He's a mix of older raid gear and more modern group gear. And
Brace
he's got
impact fades.
A lot of his heroic dexterity as type 5 augs completed. Probably 50%. Let's call it 50%. And then the others are just older type 5s. But yeah, his weapons are nice. That is a tier 1 and a tier 2 Knight of Shadows raid weapons.
Roaring shield down.
And so we're down to 2. You can hear me tapping away, both on the warrior and occasionally on the cleric, who I've set up on another computer with its own keyboard. I don't really play him, but oh, there! Look at this! Look at this! The health going down. But I did get off some heals, and occasionally cast heal over time and refreshed shining, and definitely not a Molo situation. And of course, I pick up a couple of snakes as ads because I moved a little too far one way. So the battle's not over. I definitely used all of my defensives. I'm not saying I used them in the most clever way. I sort of panicked and hit a lot of them early on to keep me up. And then, I wasn't planning to really heal with faith at all, just see if the 2 cleric mercs could keep me up. But it was getting a little low, so I had to bring in some reinforcements. I was happy to get this Partisan quest done. The Partisan quest in Anafexin, there's one that is... Or no, it's that... Tempest... There's a Partisan quest that I was doing that is bugged. And I've confirmed that it's bugged. And so I had to just bypass that and move on. It's one where you hail some paladins, and there's some blue text. And I hailed it, and I did the blue text and responded, and they just gave me side eye. And I did that a number of times. I'm sure if anybody's trying to do that quest right now, they realize it is bugged. And so we're getting there. We've got the knock attacker, which will allow me to finish this Partisan quest, and then the 2 snakes. And I think I'm pretty safe now. I have no mana again. Or no endurance. Sorry, not mana, endurance again, because I had died and I just decided to dive in there, not really thinking, and I didn't bother to sit down and get my endurance to full. And you can't use breather in combat. So, like I said, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed sometimes, but I did get this job done. And I was very happy to finish this quest. I was sad that I could not Molo it, but that's no surprise. I mean, it kind of just was confirming. Again, I think maybe a better player, if there's different techniques, could get it done, or maybe better gear. Anyways, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you.